Ah, Venom.
Even though Venom's sequel title has been revealed as Venom Let There Be Carnage, we have a hunch that it's hinting at something far worse than just Cletus Kasady. After all, Let There Be Carnage isn't the name of any pre-existing Marvel comic, so why did Sony choose it? They could have easily gone with Maximum Carnage to cash in on that sweet 90s nostalgia, or the no-brainer title of Venom vs. Carnage. It's simple, clear, sentient goo versus sentient goo. What's not to like? But seeing as they went with this religiously tinged subtitle, even though Carnage isn't a religious fanatic, might mean Sony has something more in store than merely everyone's favorite frizzy-wigged symbiote.
There's gonna be carnage.
And we have an interesting theory about how Venom 2's title might be teasing a secret bonus villain. Now, we say bringing the Lord of the Abyss into the sequel would give Venom the nemesis he deserves, even without Spider-Man around. He can also help reveal the Venom symbiote's deep and far-reaching connections to the MCU and offer a super cool chance for Venom to finally get his signature white chest emblem. Now, we'll get to those things a little bit later, but first we need to talk about the god of the symbiotes himself, Knull. Created by Donny and Ryan Stegman in 2018, Knull is a relatively new addition to the Marvel Universe as of Venom number 3. He's a primordial deity, billions of years old, who loathes light and life and wants to snuff it out with his darkness. Now that's why he created the symbiotes, evil mind-warping jellies that merge with nervous systems of other creatures. Knull was eventually imprisoned in the far reaches of space, but, being a dark god and all, he can reach out to control the various symbiotes throughout the universe anyway, including Venom. Plus, he's got this big dragon symbiote monster that he summons to try and destroy the world sometimes. Only sometimes, apparently. So yes, that would be a completely outrageous new origin story for the symbiote. No one is denying that. The symbiote's original comic origin painted it as more of an amoral and insidious thing from outer space, but Marvel went from Alien to Prometheus with it, and now it has grand ties to a cosmic being. Now that's something we could definitely roll with, because the first Venom movie kickstarted the character without something he desperately needs, an iconic nemesis. Quick side note, guys, yes, Tom Holland's Spider-Man may in fact one day cross paths with Tom Hardy's Venom in a movie. It feels like that's pretty much inevitable, but until then, we're going to focus on what a spiderless Venom franchise would look like. And since Knull has nothing to do with Spider-Man, introducing his mythology would allow Venom to continue to stand on his own two sticky feet. Now here's where Carnage comes in. The story of Knull eventually leads to a comic event called Absolute Carnage. In it, Cletus Kasady starts the cult of Carnage, communes with Knull, and reinvents himself as Knull's divine instrument of death and destruction. Remember, until now, Kasady has never had a strong motive for being a deranged serial killer, just general madness. He's usually portrayed as a grim nihilist, thinking he's doing people a favor by murdering them in order to relieve them of the burden of life. So adding Knull to the mix would make the movie version of Carnage a whole lot more interesting and purpose-driven. Imagine this, guys. When Woody Harrelson's Cletus Kasady bonds with the red symbiote to become Carnage, he starts to hear the voice of God in his head. Now, disturbing as it may sound, many real-life serial killers have said their murders were done in service of God. So if Carnage started saying that in the movie, most people wouldn't think much of it. But what if the big reveal in the third act is that Carnage actually was hearing the voice of a god, but it was Knull, god of the symbiotes? Cut to the post-credit stinger that shows Knull finally breaking free from his space prison, and now we have a next-level villain perfectly teed up for Venom 3. If Knull does get introduced to Sony's superhero world, then he would bring with him many ties to the greater Marvel universe, and we'd love to see it happen. Remember in Guardians of the Galaxy, nowhere is the space station inside the head of a dead Celestial? Well, it was Knull who chopped that Celestial's head off with the symbiote sword, known as the all-black Necro Sword. It makes Cloud's Buster sword look like a damn toothpick. And you know how the going rumor is that Kristen Bell is going to play Gore the God Butcher in Thor Love and Thunder? Well, Knull's all-black necro sword winds up in Gore's hands, and that's what he uses to go on a Kratos-esque god-killing spree. It's been said that this iconic Marvel sword was the inspiration for Hela's black magic weaponry in Thor Ragnarok, so really, the seed for it has already been planted in the MCU. For now, it's remained a mystery as to whether Sony's Marvel movies, aside from Spider-Man of course, will become a part of the MCU or not. Venom seemed to say, absolutely not. But the first Morbius trailer begged to differ. So it's tough to say if Sony will decide to capitalize on these elements of Knull's history. We're just saying, if they wanted to, they totally could, and it'd be sweet. Okay, last words on this, guys. When you think about it, Knull is a great fit for what Sony is doing with Venom. The first movie went way overboard with its tone and action, so what better way to keep that momentum going than by adding a villain who wears symbiote armor, wields a gnarly symbiote sword, and commands a gargantuan symbiote dragon? I mean, as Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 helped prove in 2014, mainstream audiences are more than ready for the real nerd stuff, the weird stuff, the deep lore stuff, so let's get into it. Plus, Knull will make for a different kind of climactic battle. We've seen symbiote humanoid versus symbiote humanoid once already with Venom versus Riot, and we're bound to get more of it when Venom clashes with Carnage, so pitting Venom against Knull will give audiences something fresh. Ryan Stegman went all out when he showed Venom battling Knull's symbiote kaiju, and he draws Venom with these wicked dragon wings, so seeing all of that play out on the big screen would kick the sci-fi action into the next level, the next gear, while showing off some Venom abilities that most people have never even seen before. Oh, and the best part, you've probably noticed Knull has a symbol of a dragon on his chest. Well, Knull can possess other symbiotes, causing his red markings to appear on them. Not only would that be a cool new look for Venom in the third movie of this trilogy, but after he beats Knull, he could cleanse the red corruption from his body, but keep the symbol, and we'd finally get the fully complete Venom with the white chest emblem that fans have been dying to see on the big screen. So what do you think of our theory about the Venom 2 title? Could it be a hint that Knull is coming, or have we thought way too much into this because the self-isolation is starting to get to us? You know, I don't know. I think it is starting to get to me, man. I'm starting to hear voices in my head like, Knull. What's that, Knull? What do you say? Well, Knull says sound off in the comment section down below. We want to know your thoughts, guys. Thanks for watching, guys. For more from IGN, check out our ranking of the most powerful symbiotes. And no, Venom isn't number 1. And our ranking of the 10 best superhero movies ever. And be sure to follow and subscribe to IGN wherever you like to watch.